Trivia question. Who did Jimmy say they suck about? Answer
Right?
is Yankees.
Riddle me
No.
this, Batman. All right.
Is this allowed?
What?
Is this allowed?
Well, yeah, better than that, like, fag thing you would.
Yeesh.
Good thing we're.
Are we live yet?
Yeah, we are.
I didn't mean to say that.
We are live, but the problem is with the graphics is that I put them with your guys' name on the wall.
It's all right. Whew. All right.
I'm not allowed to talk like that.
Sheesh.
I apologize to all my public.
That's all right.
Oh, what are you gonna do? There was nobody in the room yet.
Or maybe I'll just call everybody up individually and say, take me 5 minutes.
I am so sorry.
Athletics. Why don't we just talk about we should freak everybody out, talk about the Knicks for an hour.
Right.
You know what? You would do that again.
I tell you
Cowboys
what, I
0-2.
don't want this to go lost with AJ's work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to. I got you know what I'll do? I got a great idea. So, all right, I got an idea. Let's go. Don't worry about it, AJ. I'll figure this out. No, we're gonna start the podcast right now. And when we want to talk about it, we remove him and add him back up at all times. You know what I'm saying? What we'll do is we'll get the graphic going, then we'll remove the entire thing, and then we'll bring him back in, and that's when we won't have a layover. Got it? All right. See, it's always a solve. Here we go. Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa. All right. There we are. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Podcast here live on a Victory Monday. That's right. Victory Monday here for the Dallas Cowboys and, of course,
the Rutgers Scarlet McKnights.
The Rutgers Scarlet Knights are also 3-0 on the young season. I know, Gooch, you're excited because it's game day for you. So you had to you had a chance to kind of sit around, do nothing other than watch your bets not hit and all your fantasy guys suck. And then now's the time. Now you can get good. Sturch Gooch, and of course, behind the glass, the premier producer of this podcast, and that is AJ Basco. And of course, in studio today, it is Jimmy Palumbo Mondays, as he's going to get his podcast recorded in just a little bit, episode 28. And boy, if you don't use Darren Woodson, I'm going to be very upset.
Okay, Vegas right now. What are the odds that I'm going to use Darren Woodson as Sean?
I bet you the odds are better that you will use Darren Woodson for your show than they are of you completing a 5K in under 30 minutes.
which got lost in translation.
I forgot about it. I got a lot of feedback on that, and there's nobody that has your back on this one, Jim.
No one has your back.
Not one single person has your back.
Okay, so
and you only get 4 days to prepare.
So we can barely go live stream here. I want to go live stream while I'm running the race.
You know what we're gonna do? We know what we're gonna do. We're gonna give AJ a GoPro, and he's gonna run alongside of you. He'll run this way, and you'll just keep running, and then we'll just have good hard film the entire time.
I don't know why are we throwing AJ under the bus.
I can't run it. AJ's probably running better than I can.
You have to run alongside of me with the GoPro.
On a bike.
I'll ride a bike. I'll be like the Mike Tyson punch out.
But you're saying I can't complete it?
I'm saying you can't complete it in 30 minutes or less. So that means like an average of a 10-minute mile.
Okay, I'll be honest. I ran it twice. One was under, one was over. All within 30 seconds. So 29 and a half, 30. It's like, I'll just...
When was the last time?
Fly the last 100 yards.
When was the last time you ran it?
It was a while back.
AJ?
About 10 years ago.
Yeah, like I'll film it, but I'm just gonna learn how to skateboard and I'm gonna do some amazing tricks while
you could be that guy. You could be the new guy with that. Remember that song that was playing, like when it's like filming and he got really popular on TikTok?
Okay, so we're not even gonna do an actual race. We're just gonna get in our cars, figure out how long 3.2 miles is, and then we're gonna run that like in Mattawan.
Okay.
I bike it in like 20 minutes.
See that?
Actually, I bike it in 5 minutes. 5 miles in 20 minutes. That's my
fans out
that's what
there.
I do.
They're saying if I finish less than 30 minutes, I win the bet.
All right. So, Dave, when you say bike it,
stationary bike.
Do you mean like at the gym? That doesn't count.
How does it not count?
It's very different.
Very, very different to ride a bike than riding a stationary
Pounding of
bike.
your knees. Come on.
Yeah, like going
There's
up.
no chicks to look at.
When was the last time
There's
you?
plenty of chicks to look at the gym.
At the gym, not when you're on the road.
Oh,
bro.
yeah, no, it gets very lonely
Unless you're
out there.
Madawan, you can get killed.
And then when you look uphill and you're like, oh, that's.
You adjust the thing. You adjust the what the hell you call it? The resistance. Anyway, wow. How about sports?
How about sports?
Sports
the first 2 minutes were about how fat I am. That's how I interpret that.
So we are back here at Chop Studios. Of course, we were here yesterday watching some Sunday football. I dipped out of there to go watch my beloved Cowboys steal one on the road, and we'll get into all the games today because it is a victory Monday for me. As far as AJ is concerned, the one thing I will say, AJ, is that you had good seats, right, for the Jets game?
There were some beautiful fucking seats. Besides
beautiful seats, terrible game. We'll get into the Jets and
AJ,
Zach Wilson.
Would you rather have 50-yard line seats and what happened yesterday, or in the upper deck in the way up top, 1,000 miles away, and the Jets win by 20?
Of course, the latter. What the hell does being closer to the field have to do with anything? I'm a fan of the team. I want them to win.
The closer you are, you can maybe get your hand in interception.
I mean, it was cool seeing Damian Harris just absolutely bully the
I was
Jets.
going to say, how close were you on that
I
side
was
of the field?
very close to that. It was insane. I've never been that close. It was dope.
To me, it looked like Belichick in his classic mode of
pissed off. I'm not losing to this kid. You're out of your mind if you think I'm going to lose to this.
That's what it looked like to me, but I'm not counting out the Jets yet.
Listen, I picked them to not win the game, but at least cover the 6 at home, and I couldn't. But
I hate the Patriots, but you know what? Now that Brady's on the Bucs, I don't know. In my mind, I actually am rooting for Belichick.
I feel the same way. But
it's crazy.
And
man.
Matt Jones is one of my favorite
Red Sox
players
thing,
because he's the anti-Tom Brady to me. He's the guy that's being brought in to show that Tom Brady
say anti-Tom Brady. I think he's just he's the next one. How the story is going. Look at the story. He's a flabby quarterback that came in out of nowhere.
I understood, but when I say the replacing Tom Brady thing, I understand you're the next, but the anti to me means that he's there for Belichick to prove that it wasn't Tom Brady, it was Belichick. So if he could have a second flabby quarterback get it done and win multiple rings, then clearly it's Bill Belichick.
For some reason, I feel like Belichick's statue that'll be high above Canton someday took a little hit because Tom Brady went to the team with the best defense and the best offensive line, had a decent little season, and they won the Super Bowl.
I mean, Tom Brady threw
you saying a Super Bowl season is a decent little season is the same as me saying that Francisco Lindor was a decent little player.
But you're forgetting that. But Belichick lost his Hall of Fame quarterback. You can't.
I'm not forgetting that.
It's on a plane.
And not only that, about 11 starters opted out for the COVID situation last year. So the Patriots really took a hit.
And outside of Steve Young, what franchise? I'm probably going to get abused for this. What franchise, and really in the last, say, 30 years, loses their god, an Aikman, Eli, a Peyton,
Packers,
and goes on to completely kick ass immediately right after?
Packers.
The Colts.
49ers, maybe?
The Colts went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. Yeah, I know Andrew Luck was short-lived, but they lost their guy and they got their guy.
Yeah, but they didn't go. They 13-3.
No, but I don't know.
They didn't win shit with Andrew Luck either.
So
it's like where you get a guy that comes in and wins a Super Bowl.
Steve Young, Montana.
Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. Brett Favre was still in the league.
Right, but who did when Favre was no longer a Packer? Aaron Rodgers started the next week.
Yeah.
The
next day or the next started week? Winning from there.
They went 6-10 the first season, but then
that's what he's asking for. Like immediate.
It's very rare.
Very rare.
That was people were up in arms. Who's this guy Rodgers? That's how people are. It's hard to replace a legend.
The Broncos went from Tim Tebow to Peyton Manning in the
season. There you go. See, boom, a legend. He said legend. There's your legend. But I will say this.
As soon as I hear Tim Tebow, I'm like,
you know what's crazy?
What are we talking about?
The Dallas Cowboys, after Aikman retired in '99, it took them till Tony Romo in 2007 to find a quarterback that actually won some games. So it was bad sledding for a while.
When you lose your almighty quarterback, people
absolutely.
think, no, it could take a decade.
That's why this whole offseason was mind-boggling to me, because we're talking like Jordan Love is this guy.
No.
We have a Hall of Fame quarterback there. Brady's winning until he's mid-40s. Rodgers is only 38 now. I understand that's still old. But the way the NFL is set up now, quarterbacks don't get hit.
Right.
At all.
The longevity will get longer.
There was definitely a guy in that Packer office who was like, I don't care. Outside of he becomes a serial murderer, we cannot let Rodgers go
of course.
until he absolutely he won't fly back here. because no matter who we have underneath, probably is not going to be as good. So, like, what do we got to do? The only way to do it.
Imagine
you
Jordan
lose
Love
it.
against the Saints last week. It would have been even worse.
I mean, it can't get any worse.
It could.
I mean, what, they won't score the 3 points? That's about as worse as it gets. But we won't talk about the Packers of week 1. We will talk about the Packers in week 2 later on as we preview the Monday Night Football game. But we'll start. Let's wrap it around the league here. AJ, bring it up, man. What is the first game? We're going to talk about the Bears and the Bengals. Look, we saw some Justin Fields finally. We saw some Justin Fields, and it's because of an Andy Dalton injury. I don't know if you saw that in slow motion, the Andy Dalton stuff. Like, you saw like something wiggle in his leg. Like,
it's a non-contact injury.
I know, and it was scary. You know what I'm saying? It was
Poor
very
Andy.
scary to see.
Guys can get hurt at any different time.
Right. But look, it's the Justin Fields show now until the foreseeable future. I will say this, besides Andy Dalton not playing well, the Bears defense also showed up. I believe they had a pick 6 on Joey Burrow, and that's another one that just kind of scares me.
I look at this game, and this is two not very good football teams playing on Sunday.
Point blank period. Joe Burrow throwing the 3 interceptions was a little more to do with him sucking than the Bears actually playing great. The Bears got 3 turnovers and one turned it into a defensive touchdown. They still only won by 3 points. The Bears didn't really impress. Justin Fields came in, and you see his athleticism.
Well, we were saying it yesterday when we were
ready.
watching the game together. Remember? But drop back the pass. How fast were his reads before he was like, I'm going to run this?
Yeah, he was. Just go. Look, one left, right, go. Less than a second, he took off.
His reads weren't there. It was like, let's see what Allen's doing. No, well, my tight end. Maybe. I don't know. It was like, bink, bink, gone. Just like, you just run.
All the great running quarterback, even the not so great ones, like even early on, like Michael Vick. I remember that clearly. He did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the coaching's like, listen, you can run, but 16 games, the linebackers are
It's
just
just not going to work.
No.
You're going to get nicked up. You won't be as fast week 9 as you are week 1. So you have to learn a bit. And that's why I thought Michael Vick, his biggest thing was not his accuracy, the fact that he could very casually throw a 60-yard pass.
Right, with the flick of the wrist.
So
like,
if you're a receiver, you go like, oh, okay. I'm going to run down because I'm running a 4.2. I'm going to run as fast as I can. And the guy's going to be like, well, he can't throw it this far.
Right.
Yes, he can.
Absolutely.
But the good quarterbacks put it all together and stop running it.
And
even
that's where
Steve Young didn't run.
That's what you want to see now. The coaches aren't exactly what you said. They're not saying don't run. They're saying go through your reads first.
Right.
If there's nothing there, break the pocket. Still stay behind the line of scrimmage because you're taking away a lot of big plays.
And you got to also learn how to step out of bounds, know where the first on. A lot of these rookies are trying to, like I said, I think 40 years ago, the linebackers were more like Harry Carson guys, not as fast. They're heavy hitters, but you could elude. Now these linebackers, guys like Micah Parsons, I can't believe I'm bringing them up. They're not. I call him Micah. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't watch Cowboy games enough. I did watch the game yesterday, but I'm saying he's fast and is going to drill you out of bounds. So, but I think both teams stink. I think the Giants are better than the Bears.
Who did I pick in this game?
Who picked the Bengals? Me? Oh, all right. Dropped one there. But wait, what was the spread?
There was a push.
Was it a push? I don't remember the spread.
Bears were -2.5.
Oh, okay.
Son of a bitch. All right. So
I mean, me and Gooch had a horrible rest of the day. So.
Yeah, that's probably my only win. So
yeah, well, yeah, your
worry.
bets are all sorts of fun. All right. So, well, listen, it remains to be seen about what we can do with Joe Burrow. He's got a lot of offensive weapons. Let's see if he can put it together. A little scary for a little while because Ty God Taylor turned it up again as the Texans dropped to the Browns 31-21. The Browns do not cover the number, which is fun because why would they? But I will say this. The Texans are in trouble because now it's a situation where, yes, you're now 1-1, right? But the bigger decision is, are you going to just bite the bullet and let Deshaun Watson play football, or are you going to go Davis Mills, who is their third string quarterback? Or now the rumors will start to kick up again if Tua is going to miss an extended period of time, because the Dolphins and the Texans were linked for Watson to be shipped out of town because of all the crap that's going on, right? So now we're going to see where Watson's going to play, and if the Texans are going to nut up and just bring him on. Like, Jimmy, I'll ask you, despite all the shit that's going on, well, I can't even say despite all the shit. There's a lot of shit going on with Deshaun Watson. If you're the Texans GM, are you letting him play until he's suspended? Because right now, this is it's not an admission of guilt. It's just like
the GM's in a terrible position.
Right.
Because there's fans out there who say, you know what? These NFL players, a lot of them are criminals anyway. put him out there. And then the other half is like, oh, like that GM's got to go home to his mother, his grandmother.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So you know what? I think if you, this is the Vegas thing. If you play him and you're 8-1, you're a hero. If you play him and then they don't go 8-1, then you're a jerk because he played, he stinks, and you played.
Right. It's almost like Domingo Germán's pitching this year.
My point is this:
I think you got to trust your security.
If they were going to play him at any given point, it wasn't Tyrod Taylor that was keeping him on the bench. He's not playing this year for them.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. They have to ship him then.
I have friends that work for the Giants. These NFL teams have security. They have guys. They have friendly detectives. They have Jerry Jones picks up a phone call and says, "Hey, did my guy? Is he really? What's going on?"
Right.
So they have information that's not in a court of law. They have those things like he wasn't being illegal, but he was being a jerk off. They know all that.
So then
I say
then if he's not playing, that's basically saying like, yeah, he's toast.
And
like,
to the point of the Tua thing.
And how do you look at the guy in the other team? Some offensive lineman, some other guy. It's a bad.
Right. It's a nasty look.
Unless Tua thing is like potentially season ending or career ending.
And who do you think has Tua on his fantasy?
You. I don't think that
loser
making that move because of maybe a 6 to 8 week thing in a season is going to make you shift gears in your entire franchise and take on that risk. There also is the chance that you make the trade and then he does get suspended. So there's just too much to give up.
How long has the GM been there?
Which GM?
The Texans.
1 year.
Yeah, he's brand new. So he can't, like, this is the biggest decision he's ever had to make, and he's brand new.
I think he's got to not play him.
He's not playing him. If he would, like I said, Tyrod Taylor is a journeyman at best. If Tyrod Taylor was starting over Deshaun Watson, then Davis Mills, is that his name?
Yeah.
Davis Mills is also going to be starting over Deshaun Watson because he's not even dressing. Is he even practicing?
And what's the contract? What's the contract?
Oh, he's lucrative as hell.
Paid. That's why he's showing up.
That's why he's there.
He demanded a trade anyway.
They have to pay him.
Well, his whatever his guarantee is what he's going to get. So if he's signed a $100 million contract and 80 of it was guaranteed, guess what? He's getting $80 million.
And then any team could sign
to do nothing.
So they're not going to cut him because they're at least going to try and get compensated. Right now,
they want compensation.
They're just hoping nobody asks this question and just it sits there.
But if it goes to the courts, then they have he already got his money though.
It's it. Yeah. I mean,
so he's only playing for the 30% of that contract.
Correct. So that's a sticky situation.
Well, you know what? I have a daughter. You have
I know.
How can we sit here,
right, and say like,
this is the asshole part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
How can you and I sit here?
No, I can't.
About a team we could give a fuck about,
right?
And say like, you got to play him. Meanwhile, he could be the biggest creep. I say you cut him, cut your losses, and move on.
Well, they're not going to cut him. That's not a good
whatever you call it. Whatever they got to do.
Just trade him for a fifth or some shit. You know,
they're going to do exactly what they're doing right now. They're going to wait because right now his value is at an all-time low. If things clear up and he doesn't want to play for them, then they get value for him again because then it's like, oh, he didn't do anything.
Are there court dates announced?
No, nothing. Nothing's been nothing. There's nothing. I hate to say it
this way. It's not even a criminal case.
I haven't really followed the case 100%.
Not even a criminal case.
I know it's a lousy scenarios.
It's not a criminal case.
No grand jury yet.
Nothing. It's just a bunch of indictments. Not even indictments.
Well,
it's civil cases.
So I'll go back to my first statement. The Texans know what happened.
Yeah, correct.
And if they don't, well, shame on them.
Exactly.
Actually, you know what? The NFL and the Texans know what happened.
I'm mad at the NFL. I'm mad at the NFL simply because, and this is a Cowboys bias in me, right? In 2017, no. In 2017, Zeke Elliott was accused of doing something, right? And then it turns out that he didn't do anything, but the commissioner gave him 6 games anyway. Right, for like a bad, you know what? You gave the Shield a bad look, so you get suspended. Watson hasn't been touched yet.
Yeah, but however, that's because of that. That's why they haven't suspended him.
Why? Because they're waiting for all the facts.
They're like, well, we made a mistake with the Cowboys. We can't make
it's like 2 wrongs don't make a right.
I agree, but look, I'll tell you right now, and I hate to compare it to a certain similar situation, but this might be the Ray Rice thing. This might be Colin Kaepernick thing, where no team is ever going to take a chance on this guy because of his behaviors off the field. So it is what it is. And I'm not saying Kaepernick has a bad rep off the field. Whatever he did, I don't give a shit.
I'm a Rutgers guy. Is 30 women saying you're a creep,
right?
Or one bad night in a hotel room with your wife who you're still married to,
correct?
And you can't play anymore,
right?
So I think to me, Rice didn't play anymore, probably deservedly so, and the other guy shouldn't play either.
Sticky
but
situation.
Then you go into that, what you do in your personal life, but there's got to be a criminal charge.
You're not allowed to rape people in your personal life.
Yeah, can't do that. Rule number one: don't do that.
I agree with that, but of course I agree with that. But where's the charge then?
Right,
It's been
right.
months. It's been going on.
It's been going on for a long time, and there's nothing to be
What
said
are you
about
waiting
nothing.
for?
All right, so the Browns do get a win. I will say this: Baker Mayfield, juggernaut out there. He actually hurt himself a little bit, got shaken up. Did it with nobody, because Odell is a little piece of glass and he doesn't want to play anymore. And then you have Jarvis Landry, who also goes out with an injury. And now you're throwing to guys like Peoples-Jones, which is a real name, by the way. So like that's a alarming thing for the Browns, but they still get it done because God damn is those running backs good, bro.
I watched the red zone. I think this could be the year. I think the Browns are going to be like good this year. I think they look.
They won 11 games last year.
Yeah, so it's not like a this year thing. It's like they're up on up.
It wasn't a one-off. I mean, obviously, not having Landry and Beckham is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing. Like, why is Beckham not playing? What is his problem?
His knee. They're saying he's not ready.
It's been going on for like a while now, right?
That's from last year.
What week did he get hurt?
It's towards the middle of the season.
So he's been out like now.
A while, and again,
same injury. He didn't play during preseason either.
No,
right?
nothing.
And he didn't have surgery.
Oh yeah, he did.
But I'll tell you what,
in
the offseason, he was running routes and he looked
good.
Healthy.
So it's a matter of maybe he's
not
not
on TV enough doing commercials. Me, like you could do a commercial, you could run it.
I'm just saying.
Was he on the sidelines?
Yeah,
that's another argument me and my cousin always have.
It's all about
I'm watching the game and you're a star and you're hurt. You should not be at the game. You should be at some spa.
Wholeheartedly agree. It's funny you used to say that because somebody got on my case. I forget who it was. When Dak Prescott had the shoulder thing in the preseason, right? They're like, well, why didn't he make the trip to Pittsburgh for the Hall of Fame game? I said, because he's getting rehab and he's getting treated because he wants to be ready. Like you don't just sit there and rah-rah your team and you're hurt. So why be there?
That was for a preseason game?
Yeah, first one.
For a regular season game, if it's one of those injuries where you have to rehab it all the time, you do not be. Why are you on the sidelines? Number one, you can get hit on the sidelines.
Sure.
Like, what are you doing there?
Thing, yeah.
And I think it's a bad look. The fans to me, it's like you're going to ask a carpenter who's got a bad shoulder and bad fingers working on a job.
We only have 31 more games.
Sorry. Browns win. They get a big win. They're 1-1 off their loss to Kansas City. So we'll see what they do.
Had a ton to say about them. My lord. And let me just also say, let me sneak something in.
All right, yeah.
Genius t-shirt idea. If the Texans somehow do good, Mills Mafia. There you go.
Mills Mafia. I love it. Okay, cool. We're gonna we'll market it to the Houston crowd.
If we make one, maybe we'll sell one. Right? We might sell a t-shirt.
All I'm saying is if Davis Mills turns the league
I
on
like
fire.
it. Listen,
sports.
AJ's got his mind on the business, and I like that. Like it's very inspiring.
All right, Bill,
Rams and
Colts.
AJ are keeping us on the narrow.
I know. Imagine that.
You were talking about.
So here we go. One of the better receivers now in the NFL, Cooper Kupp. It's time to start recognizing the fact that he's really good at football, and he gets the job done along with Matt Stafford, still playing great football. Colts showed some fight towards the end, but ultimately the Rams are now 2-0, and the Colts fall to 0-2. Correct, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so they're 0-2 in a division where they don't have to. I mean, this isn't panic mode at all because the Titans will get into them. They won their first game, so they're only a half game out after 2 weeks. Not a big deal. But I will say this once again: Carson Wentz bad at football sometimes. What is with those shovel passes?
Well, he's hurt.
Well, I know he hurt his ankle again. What else is new?
So Carson Wentz, I don't know if he's even going to be there next week because he looked. They weren't even giving him treatment on the sidelines. They pulled him from the game. They said it was for an injury. I don't even think they still have.
It's an ankle.
Did they say what it was?
It was an ankle injury.
Yeah, it's an ankle injury.
So just a high ankle sprain.
X-rays haven't come back yet.
If it's a high ankle sprain, he's out for multiple weeks.
But he didn't look like he was in pain.
I mean, he was marked as questionable to return the entire game. So it's like, okay, when are you coming back? How about now?
When I hear high ankle sprain, it means he'll be available in 2024.
Right, exactly.
High ankle sprain means he died.
Basically, you could say that again.
It's specifically in Carson Wentz's case. Yeah, he's definitely.
I mean, look, the Eagles are very upset right now because the only way they can cash in on that additional first-round pick is if Carson Wentz plays a certain amount of downs or a certain amount of games for this team, and it's not looking like that's going to happen because the guy can't stay on the field, and that's a shame. Because look, and what about the fact that they had first and goal from the 2-yard line twice? And they don't use Jonathan Taylor. That's
they did.
They did 3 times in a row.
They just got stuffed. The offensive line didn't
right. The
do what they needed to do.
That's what I meant to say. I mean, they didn't use him. He just didn't. He wasn't effective at the goal line. And I know from a fantasy standpoint, I'm sure like guys like AJ are ripping their hairs out because they got all of a sudden. When's the last time you heard the name Marlon Mack? When's the last time you heard his name? Right? Like
years.
Right.
How many yards did Stafford throw for?
I could check that right now.
Yeah, Stafford in the air.
Because to me, it looks like I'm on a better team now.
This is the best he's ever looked.
If only somebody said that Matt Stafford will win the MVP of the show.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Tom Brady's got like 11 touchdown passes.
Yeah,
AJ does have it on record that Matt Stafford will not win like a comeback player of the year. Like, no, I said Stafford will win most improved player. And AJ went on a limb and said, you know what? No, he's winning MVP. And right now,
I think Stafford was already. People gave him respect, so it wasn't like he was completely
he's not most
shit.
improved. He's just
Yeah.
it is what it is.
He threw for 278 yesterday.
The Rams are 2-0, and they're a force to be reckoned with. I'm telling you right now, they are a force to be reckoned with. That between losing their starting running back and still kind of getting things done around there on the ground.
Darrell Henderson's hurt too. No,
well, yeah. I mean,
he left the game and didn't return.
We'll talk about that tomorrow in your waiver wire pickups for fantasy football because guys are getting hurt. The starting quarterback's getting hurt. Like you better stock up on these backups now because guys are getting rocked. And that's
with the next game we're going to discuss. I certainly need help because I had Tua, who was a nice 1 for 4 for 13 yards, and I didn't realize it. So I'm looking at the fantasy app and I'm like, why does he have 0.53 points?
Yeah, no, Tua.
I didn't look underneath that actually had that he hadn't thrown
the Dolphins. The Dolphins came in here with a little swag, right? They're flying high to beat the New England Patriots in New England last week, and then they go in here and then they just lay a complete absolute goose egg.
It's a wash because when you lose your starting quarterback in the game,
but it was way into
they
just couldn't get it done. They couldn't move the ball.
I think it's an emotional and they finally had invested in this guy. Looked like he was going to be okay, and he gets hurt. And then
who came in? Jacoby,
yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, but this is really just history repeating itself. Even going back to last season with the Dolphins and the Bills have wiped their ass with the Dolphins every single time they play. Even week 17, where the Dolphins needed a crucial win to get into playoffs, all they had to do was win, and they're in, and they lose to.
They did have a win in this scenario, right? Last year, the Dolphins.
They had to win, and they lost to an all second string Bills team.
Yeah, because they're resting their
20
start.
plus points.
Yeah, they just got their number. I mean, sometimes in the NFL, you just have their number, and that's what happened.
I was rooting for for no reason. I was rooting for the Dolphins. I feel like you complain about the Cowboys haven't done much in 20 years. The Dolphins have been bad. I don't even recall. They made the playoffs a couple times, but
Shula in Miami.
Miami hasn't won in the playoffs in a long time.
13-3. When's that time?
I'm going to drop a name on you for the last.
Marino the quarterback.
The last time they won a playoff game, I'm going to drop some knowledge here. Ready? Jay Fiedler.
Yeah,
that might be the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. That's a long time ago. 99, 2000.
Yeah,
I think it was with like Lamar Smith.
So many Dolphins fans out there. You go to a sports bar, there's that Dolphin.
Bobby Fitz, our resident Dolphin fan. My mother, my mother's a Dolphin fan. She texted me last night. She's like, Davey, what's the problem here? I was like, I can't tell you. I don't know.
So I root for them, and then their quarterback gets hurt, and then 35-0.
That's brutal. So the Bills right the ship. Josh Allen looked a lot better than week 1. I will say this: is it time to really take Devin Singletary a little bit more serious as a 1 fantasy running back, but 2 just as your RB1? Like, does this guy have the capabilities of doing that going forward?
He does, but really, Zach Moss also had a fucking crazy touchdown run.
They got a nice little 1-2 punch
maybe
there.
The Buffalo backs,
and he was a healthy scratch.
They were overlooked. Was he a healthy scratch?
Yeah.
Or was he just banged up?
No, I think I don't know. AJ, you remember if he was?
I was pretty sure he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, man, it was weird.
Well,
it's
he had a nice run.
You got to choose 53,
yesterday.
right? Or 53 man. Yeah, 53 guys got to suit up, and like for you to tell the world that your RB2 is not one of them. It just makes no sense to me. But the Bills get a win, and they're flying high after their week 1 thing. Now onto the game that AJ, a Chop Sports correspondent, was in the house at Jet Life Stadium, where the Jets were getting 6 at home, and they just couldn't do anything, and it makes me wonder.
AJ, did you win the tailgate at least?
Yeah, I got a nice buzz on.
Okay.
Well, then that's a victory right there.
You can't lose a tailgate.
Can't lose at tailgating. But I will say this. Now, I beg the question to AJ. I'll give it to AJ because he's the Jets fan. Is this look like it's every rookie quarterback needs this kind of game where he just kind of shits the bed? Or is this Zach Wilson what we're going to get out of Zach Wilson going forward? Are you worried?
We're only 2 in, so it's tough. I mean, I knew against the Patriots defense, this was going to be a rough game. I had it in the cards already. Zach Wilson, 3 interceptions, but I mean, they were really bad. It wasn't like it was, chance or anything, interceptions. They were right to the defender. So, I mean, it was really bad. From the start, he was down. So that kind of mojo carrying, to take it from the GOAT, Mike McCarthy.
Moment.
That carrying on throughout the game. I mean, it's just tough to get your head back in it when your first 2 throws are interceptions. It's hard. The one thing I will say, Jets rushing attack for not really having a decent starting back looked pretty good yesterday, and the defense fights their ass off. But Patriots, simply put, they outcoached us, they outplayed us. It was terrible.
I call games like this the snake and the mouse game, where Patriots with a snake, there's a little mouse running around, and all of a sudden the snake decides, all right, and then it's like this slow. The mouse doesn't die. It's just like, oh, the mouse has no chance. And then,
after all that time, the mouse has no chance.
No Ricky Tikki Tavi going on. Anybody gets that reference, I'll send you $1.
Right.
But it's like, and Belichick on the sidelines, and even I don't know enough about schemes in football, but didn't it look like Belichick was like, oh, rookie quarterbacks. What we'll do is we're going to disguise the free safety as a this and that, and like
rookie quarterbacks don't do well against Bill Belichick coach teams.
I will say this about
it's been a bad matchup.
As a member of Dallas Cowboys media, I will say this. As a member of the media,
it's the best.
It is the best. I will say this though. The New York media, shame on them, because after the game,
the media has been great. What are you talking about?
No. The media has been bad, and this is even worse because I felt bad for the kid. Zach Wilson just played a stinker of a football game, and of course, when you face the media, you're gonna get the questions like, "What were you looking at there? What were you looking at there? Why did you throw this ball?" You know what they said to him? They asked Zach Wilson, "Were you seeing ghosts?" Like, are you kidding me?
That's stupid.
Well, that's the Sam Darnold.
No
quote.
shit, but
That's
why even do that? Like that reporter you should rip his credentials off his neck and say, "Don't come back here. You're a jerk off for saying that." Like, the kid's got to build confidence, and of course he's going to say, like, "I got to be better. I got to do this."
But what's weird? I think the Jet fans saw ghosts.
The media is definitely not there to build the confidence. I don't agree with it at all. I think it's shitty, but we're talking about it. So
it was probably like Rich Cimini or
you know
something.
what? The other angle of it, there's a lot of fans out there that are like, Alabama, look how good you are. That all those different schools you come from, and sometimes fans are weird. Like, you could be so great at the previous level, and you get fans like, all right, show me now.
Yeah,
and it's almost better to sneak in like a Brady. You come in, and by 8 weeks later, you don't realize how good you are, or good he is, but. Yeah, that you know what?
You know what happens with quarterbacks that are drafted?
They're
drafted in the top 3. They're usually playing for shitty teams.
Right.
So
that's 100% agreed. And look, I don't know why. I think AJ made a point in pre-show when we were talking about the game when I first got here. I was like, who are they throwing it to? Like, Corey Davis was wide receiver 1, double coverage all game, and he said Denzel Mims was a healthy scratch. Like, what's happening here? Jameson Crowder still out. Like, why? What are they? They're not doing this kid any favors.
Crowder was hurt, so I get that. The Mims thing, I don't really know about. That I have no answer for.
But I'm saying, like,
Elijah Moore, where was he?
Right.
He had 8 targets. What do you mean?
Oh, all right. But where was he? Because I didn't see any fantasy points out of them targets.
The coaching staff.
There wasn't no fantasy anything out of the Jets
coaching
offense.
Staff on the Jets. This is where, and they're a new staff, so they have to now, like, that first, you have to say, guys, all right, we should.
It's not moral victory.
Let's not blow it. Let's not lose.
Moral victory day.
It's not moral victory Monday here as it was last week or last Friday. But I will say the Jets defense, they kept playing. They kept playing, and I think they're gonna all gas, no breaks for Salah. I really do. I'm a fan of Salah, and I think this kid's gonna, this coach is gonna be all right. So we move on to the Eagles, who lost 17-11 to the 49ers yesterday. I know this is one of your bets that you thought you were going to nail, Gooch. I know
this was a sure thing.
Well, this is why you have to listen to me when I tell you.
Stop.
No. Listen to me when I tell you that the Falcons are bad at football, all right, and their defense was shit.
Bro, that's obvious.
The Eagles came out playing well. They got another shitty injury. Brandon Graham done for the year, ruptured Achilles, right? And the 49ers didn't play great. It wasn't like the 49ers came out and played great. The Eagles were doing really well in the first half. I'm surprised how bad their offense played. The receivers didn't do shit.
80 yards passing by
Jalen Hurts had all his chunk plays on 2 plays, all his yards on 2 plays. So I was a little disappointed by that Eagles performance.
What I saw on TV, the red zone and other things, and what I read about, I also don't think, if again, NFC East people over here, I don't think the Eagles are going to be this 0-17.
No, that's what I said. They're
like
they fought hard.
The Eagles are not going to be as bad as I think we thought.
Well, it'll be a test next week because they're going to Dallas, and we'll see what happens. And Monday night, prime time, that'll be a fun game to watch. Not for me. I mean, I'll be there in the crowd, but it won't be any fun. Like, I don't have any fun during these games at all. The joy is sucked right from you. So 49ers get a win, though. That's much needed. Their defense showed up, and they stopped Jalen Hurts and that offense. And it's unfortunate the Eagles did lose Graham for the year, torn Achilles. That does blow for them. It's a big blow because he's an older player, but he's a big voice in that locker room.
And he's really good.
And he's still good at football. So that's a big loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. But shout out to my boy Pat Kenny, who is a Colonia guy, and the Eagles stink. So you can take that one to the bank, Pat Kenny. So what else we got?
Okay,
Who's
so
next
what
on
else
adult
we
games?
got?
Probably my
is
favorite game to
the
talk
Raiders
about
and the
here.
Steelers, a fucking great game.
Oh baby. So are the Raiders for real at 2-0? Derek Carr showed out.
Derek Carr is for real.
Derek Carr can sling it.
Don't want to.
And Derek Carr, shout out to Derek Carr, who obviously he's either in a fight with his barber or he hasn't got a haircut, but he looks like Tommy D all of a sudden. Jet black, fro looking hair. Don't understand that look he's going for, along with his eyeshadow that he wears every week.
You know what he's going for? He's going for football.
He's wins.
That's all he cares about.
He wants
like,
wins.
I need a haircut, but I have this fucking meeting that I'm going to go to instead. I need a haircut, but I'm going to go to the practice field and throw at 6 a.m. That's what he's talking about doing. And you could see the work is paying off. Derek Carr, talk about possibly most improved player. As of right now, it's Derek Carr.
2 weeks in a row,
NFL in passing against two. Let's go like this. Ready? Going into the season, we got the Raiders going to play Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
You had them 0-2.
0-2.
0-2.
They're 2-0
right.
with 2 big wins,
right.
And they're getting it from different spots. You say they took Waller out yesterday, and my man, what's his name? Ruggs stepped
Henry
up.
Ruggs pops up.
Ruggs stepped up.
As a jerk off fan, in the same comment as the Dolphin thing, the Steelers, I feel like, again, they never suck. So I'm watching the game yesterday. I'm like, enough with the Steelers. And I think the NFL, and for sports radio, I'm a little older than you guys, but like, I want the Raiders to be good again. Their fans are funny.
Me too.
They're in Vegas now. It's like the Raiders have again, they've been shitty for a while. Here and there, they do okay, but most of they've been lousy. And it's good for the NFL. If there's, you know what I mean,
you got a John
now.
Gruden coached Raider team.
Oh, by the way, did you hear his hot mic?
Gruden wasn't playing games.
His hot mic was the greatest 5 minutes of television. Like they didn't know it was close.
Let's talk about. I want to say something. I want to say something about the other quarterback though, Big Ben. Now, when I look at Big Ben, it looks like Big Ben. They can't do a single thing if there's any urgency whatsoever with Big Ben. Whoever their backup is, I know they'll never do this. You said yesterday about. They remind me of like the Drew Brees, how he's holding that team back. Big Ben's holding that Steeler team back.
And how about the fact that Deontay Johnson gets hurt on that last play?
Disgusting.
That's just a play. They're down. It's over. They can't win. They can't win. And now he gets hurt.
If Big Ben was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, would he be holding them back? I don't think so.
Yes. You want to know why?
The Steelers.
Big Ben. Every time he gets up,
course.
every time he runs a play, he comes back. He looks winded to me. He just looks like he's laboring way too much. No, but it's. Here's the thing. They
won the week 1.
Even when they're having success, Big Ben just looks like
he's been there a long time. You do run same thing. I thought. Remember, I made a prediction that like Brady and Rodgers were gonna. It's just too long. It's got to end. Look, it looks like that way for Big Ben.
Last year, towards the end of the season, Big Ben was holding that team back. He was so banged up.
Who's their backup, though?
Mason Rudolph.
Duck Hodges, is he gone?
He's gone.
They're not putting in.
No. Listen, they're going to ride
I know
this
they're
out.
not going to do it. I'm just saying that.
And he said that. He's like, they're not going to do it.
When you see they need it, they got a minute and 30.
To week 8.
They got a minute and 30.
Tomlin coached. Was Tomlin on the chief staff in Super Bowl 3? Don't you feel like
when you got a 3rd and 8, or forget 3rd and 8, when you have a minute and 30 to go and you got one timeout and you have Big Ben quarterback, I don't think that he could go a minute and 30 straight.
Well, we said it yesterday watching the game. We're sitting there. I'm like,
he used to be that guy.
If his first read isn't there and he has to hold on to it for that extra second, that whole line is collapsing around him.
And that's another thing. It's not like Pittsburgh's offensive line is good. They're actually really bad. I know that the Raiders' defensive line is playing a lot better, and they're actually a strength of that team.
Absolutely.
Going into the season, I wasn't giving them the credit, but then looking at the acquisitions, they're playing well, at least for now. They made them look like they were all pro. The Steelers' offensive line is just not going to get it done. Najee Harris, another bad start.
Yeah. Did
No,
he score?
no lane.
He had a 25-yard reception.
He had a
touchdown.
reception touchdown, but I'm talking about you want to see the Steelers run the football. They can't
do it.
And that's their bread and butter. That's how they've been made.
And
for
that's
their
what
entire
they thought that
existence, is
getting
run the
Najee
football.
Harris would replace the James Conner. James Conner had no lanes. He's running hard for Arizona right now.
Yeah, well, I
Goes
will
to
say
show.
this: it's going to be tough sledding going forward. But shout out to that Raiders team, that Raiders offense, the Raiders defense, everything there is to do with the Raiders right now. They're playing well and they're flying high.
Shout
So-
out to Joey D and Tommy D
and my boy Mark. We got a bunch of Raiders fans who are very excited.
My boy John Maddie from
Oh
Columbia.
yeah, John Maddy. He's my football coach my whole life.
Yeah, big Raider fan.
Moving on to what I said was going to be a fall from grace from the Saints, and it was. Jameis Winston was not Jameis Winston. Actually, I saw a bunch of memes yesterday. Very funny stuff. Him like in a slow transformation back into a Bucs jersey, because that's what he looked like. He looked like old Jameis, and the Panthers are for real. I said that they were going to be a playoff team, and I think they could be. With a 2-0 start, that's always good for the statistics and the analytics and all that stuff, and a good likelihood that they'll be in the wild card hunt at the end, or maybe even, I mean, they're not going to run with Tampa, I don't think. But I will say that they're playing complementary football. Sam Darnold, and I said this yesterday when we were here watching the games, Gooch, this kid might be a quarterback now. He might be having a good coach under a good system and with a great running back. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, my God, bro. He is so good at the sport of football. Whether he's catching
Every
the ball,
time he
running
touches
the
ball
ball,
and gets hit, I think he's going to be hurt.
but
I can't help it.
Burrows through and
Even the
pounds
way
it
he
through.
gets up, I don't know what player it used to be way back. Maybe OJ or Eric Dickerson, one of the older running back. That every time they got hit, they took a while to get up. Like McCaffrey, he just lays there. I'm like, is he good?
I mean, he's a smaller dude.
That's
and
that whole the tennis players used to
you
do
lull him
that.
to sleep
They
a little
would
bit.
act injured in between, walk back to the line, and like, oh my God.
But meanwhile, they're just
And then all of a sudden they
Right.
get shot out of a cannon. Yeah.
Rocket pass.
Yeah.
I used to hate when, there's been plenty of guys. But some guys, they take their time, catch their breath, gather themselves.
Mhm.
He's certainly, you summed it up. He's just a great football player.
He's really good. And
you
know
don't
what?
want him to get hurt. There's a guy, I could care less about the Panthers or the Saints. But when you watch the game, I hate when a guy gets hurt on a team that I don't care about. But you like to watch him play. And
Right.
it's like, oh my God, I don't want this guy to get hurt. I want
Right.
to watch this guy play.
He's like a feel good
Like
story.
there's
Like
certain players, like when you watch them, you want them to get hurt.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. Like me.
karma.
Yeah.
You guys are so bad. Anyway, so the Panthers get a win. They're 2-0. The Saints now 1-1. Coming off, it's just a weird hot and cold Jekyll Hyde thing where they just romped the Packers out of town last week, and all of a sudden they just put up a stinker, and the Saints are nowhere. Kamara, I think he had like 5
It
yards.
kind of
like that.
reminds me of the NFL.
What was the spread on that? What was the
Right.
spread on that
It
game?
was 3.5 Saints.
Saints were favored on the road. So
Well, did that look like such a Vegas sucker bet?
no,
Saints
it
kicked the
absolutely
shit out of
was.
the Packers.
It absolutely was.
A lot of people lost. Very uncomfortable conversations between husband and wives. You bet what? It was a sure thing.
I swear to God,
What do
Vegas
you mean?
told me.
We got
Packers.
Broncos, Jags.
Bringing up Broncos, Jaguars, another game that Teddy Two Gloves gets the win, or Teddy H2O, whatever the hell you want to call them. Jaguars, there's been flashes of like, okay, this Trevor Lawrence is going to be all right, but then you look at that stat line, it's like, ugh, the Jaguars are in for a long year. And I said they win 5-6 games, and I think they still can. Urban Meyer is obviously not everybody's favorite coach, but he can win games. And I think that he made a statement last night after the game to kind of like, bear with us, everybody. Bear with us. We're working on it. You know what I mean? And that goes a long way for me. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a personal thing where he's like, look, I know you're looking at this roster saying, how the heck, like Major League, like who are these fucking guys? You know what I mean? Like they don't have a clue, right? Bear with them. I think they get better as they go, but the Broncos might be a little bit. I mean, the Broncos are 2-0 all of a sudden.
The Broncos crushed the Giants week 1,
Right.
and everybody's mocking at how bad the Giants were. But I was like, I think the Broncos are going to be pretty good. And again, how many yards did Bridgewater throw for?
He led he was second, I think, out of passing leaders.
That's what I'm
After
saying. So
week 1,
he's
people
airing it
like,
out. I
oh,
know
the Giants
Cortland
lost.
Sutton had
We'll
himself
put
a
it this
game.
way. I do know that if you looked
It's
at my week 2 waiver wire pickups, Darnold was at the top and Derek Carr was at the top and Bridgewater was at the
So now
top.
who do I pick up this week now that my 2
Well, you missed the boat because now these guys are probably on teams.
Nah,
already.
I
But
think you could still
I'm
pick
in a
up
small
Bridgewater.
league. There's quarterbacks available.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, no, I
Here's the thing.
I'll
2 is
be
his
out there.
only starter. We'll talk.
Jimmy,
about
were
it.
you like,
No,
how much
I
whiskey
went by
deep were
I went
you?
by the auto roll thing.
Oh God, you are what?
I tried. I was trying to do it. It went too fast. I didn't know what I was looking at. I have some great wide receivers, though.
Hey, how about it? All right, so Teddy 2 gloves, 2-0. Broncos 2-0. What's
Jaguars
next?
are going to go 0-6 into the bye, by the way. Just need to put that out there.
All right, it's in the universe now. Way to go, AJ. Way to put the Mata Hari on him, as my stepmom would say.
Urban Meyer still sucks, by the way. I don't. What's he supposed to say after getting drubbed again?
Yeah,
Like,
but I
bear
just
with
it's
us.
a different. I don't know. It's a different feel. I don't know. It could be wrong.
Urban Meyer doesn't know how to lose because he just goes into programs where they're tailor made to win, and they're Urban
Listen,
Meyer's the devil.
If they lose for 2 years, he'll just leave. He
Yeah.
leaves everywhere.
He's gonna take
leave
the
by
USC
week
job.
9. No, he's not going to take that job. I don't
Do you hear
think.
about Bieniemy might take that shit?
Yeah,
That's
I said it on
crazy.
the podcast
I know,
last
but I'm
week,
just
yeah.
saying, like now it's a real thing, and maybe he leaves. But all right, so the best game of the day, I want to say, for as far as action is concerned, the Cardinals are now 2-0. They take out the Vikings 34-33. This game was exciting from start to finish. Unfortunately, I couldn't really pay too much attention to it because it was during the Cowboy game. But I did
So
see.
you paid no attention.
Well, no, it wasn't during the Cowboy. I'm sorry. It was a 1 o'clock start.
Now
Did you hear the radio?
4 o'clock. Right, 4 o'clock. I'm sorry.
The end of the game. Well, this was.
Did you hear the radio call?
I was just saying it before.
First of all,
listen, broadcasting 101. I've been doing this a long
you
time.
cannot call
Look
it
at the refs.
Exactly.
Look at the refs.
You know what's funny? Everybody was talking about the headline said how like sad they were. I was immediately going, as a radio broadcaster, you cannot get that wrong. The kick goes up. First of all,
You can't. It's like
No
the John
kick.
Sterling.
That's John
syndrome.
Sterling. It is high. It is far. It is
Yeah.
popped out to the center
I've been
field.
going, and listen, he's 95 years old. But when you go to a football game, kicks, unless you're sitting, I don't know, there's no good seat. No, put it this way, no head coach.
There's
knows
no.
if it's good.
There's no way unless
You
you're
got to look at
standing.
the ref, and even the ref sometimes.
Or like they
The
have to
other
look
guy
at
has
each
to
other.
look at
each other, right?
Yeah, that's why there's two of them back there because you can't tell.
There was one field goal in the Cowboy game that was it the Cowboy game? Yeah, I think the Chargers made a field goal. And my brother and my dad are like, yeah, they missed. I'm like, what are you talking about? He made it. Like, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I was like, I think it went over the top of the, when it's the uprights and it like split, like not only splits the uprights, like splits the upright. You know what I'm saying? Like half of it is in and half of it's out. They call it in.
The only people that were, the winning team enjoys that. But like, I hate when a crazy game like that was fun. I was watching on Red Zone and stuff. And a 37-yard field goal is a chip shot. I hate when games end like that. Like if it's a 55 or a player with 2 seconds ago, the guy dies and he catches it out of bounds.
Somebody hit a 56-yard for the win yesterday. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
But what I'm saying is
We're gonna skip the Cowboys because Dave already did the
it's like a
Cowboys today.
it's a lousy way to end the game, I think.
I agree, but
Oh man. Well, anyway, Vikings are who I thought they were. But we'll move on to, I think he did skip the Cowboys on purpose. No, I'm kidding. The Falcons and the Bucks. Now this, I even said it towards the end of the game. I said, man, like, what's the spread of this game? Like the Falcons are going to keep it close, right? And then all of a sudden, pick six, boom, boom, boom. Tom Brady. What is it going to take for him not to be good anymore? Because I'm so tired of it.
My
career-ending
thing that I
injury.
said Brady and
Good job, AJ.
Brady and Rodgers were finally going to have a downturn. We don't know about Rodgers.
he's
yet,
gonna
but-
throw 4 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Tom,
Rodgers is going to
my
be all right.
prediction that Brady was like on his way out could not be more. I don't think I could. I'm wrong. 100%.
He's got 9 touchdown passes.
That's unbelievable.
Nine in 2 games.
Now,
5
granted, he
yesterday.
played against
And
2
by
bad
the way, he
secondaries.
looks. It's like Dorian Gray. He looks 9. he looks like my nephew's running
Benjamin
around.
We were making a joke last week or 2 weeks ago how it was the show that you were gone for. You weren't here. It was me and AJ. We pulled up a Tom Brady graphic and he looked old. And we were like, Tom Brady finally is like looking like shit. It took 2 football games to now he looks 11 again. Literally, just football season just brings him back. It's
Winning
like the
gets you
fountain
that
of youth.
vibrant,
But when he
that
takes his
vibrant
helmet
look.
off, he really listen. I don't know. I'm not saying he's doing any kind of, but I definitely think he's whatever.
He's manipulating the system.
Yeah, whatever he's doing.
Yeah, we'll
but
say
whatever-
that.
Listen, I think he's very privately told the Buccaneers, listen, when I'm done playing, I'm going to make money. The stuff I take that makes me age less, I'm going to make $1 billion off it. I'm going to sell it to a
Yeah,
major
I was going to
company.
say he's going to go
'Cause
Shark Tank.
whatever he's doing,
He's
that's
like
what you should
eating
do if you
kale
wanna
and
look-
shit. I don't know what he's doing.
old. He's not. Was he 43?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and the other day he came out and on the record
He'll
said,
be
I would definitely
44.
play to 150 if I
I
can.
know, but how could you?
If you can, you're gonna.
and
It's
you know
gonna
what he'll
happen.
do? It won't be for the Bucks either.
It'll be for the
he'll
Dallas
wait-
Cowboys.
And the Cowboys,
An
after going-
aging Tom Brady.
Aging Brady. And of course, the Cowboys have the best defense in the league and the best offensive line.
And they'll be
Brady's
like,
behind
and Dave will
center.
be like on year 14 with Mike McCarthy, and he still wouldn't have done shit. Be like, we wasted Tom Brady.
Over there, bro. Take
No, but
that one.
you know, Tom Brady's going to be, well, he can play as long as he wants because he can go to the team that has as long as they have a good offensive
He's like
line.
just going to keep signing 1-year deals with the best team in
just
the league.
prove it deals, and then restructuring. Like, give some more to Antonio today.
Yeah.
He looked good. Give him a raise.
Well,
Gronk, if you want some money here, Gronk.
Can you imagine if 2 years from now he actually says to a team like, "Hey, just sign me for like the minimum. I just want to play." Like, that'll be the feel good.
How come Tom
throw
Brady?
5,000.
How come Tom Brady leaving New England and going to a team and handpicking his stars
Isn't tolerated like the NBA does?
And then if LeBron did that in the NBA, it would be like, what the fuck, are you kidding me? But Tom Brady could go to the Bucks and literally talk to every free agent in the league and be like, come here, come here, come here. And it's not like,
It's the first of its
Tom
kind,
Brady
though.
needs
No,
too
no,
much help.
That's a good
It's the
point.
first
That's
of its
a fair
kind. You've
point.
never seen this before. No legendary player has ever left the team and then recruited the entire team with him. You know what I'm saying? Like in the NFL, it's never happened.
First of all,
I
it's
wouldn't-
harder to do in the NFL because NBA.
And there's a hard
It's-
cap.
it's
Like there's a
just-
lot of things you have to
you need
wiggle
one or
If
around
you
two
with.
look at what the Eagles did back when they signed everybody, Vic, and they became the dream team
Yeah,
or
but they-
whatever.
but they
It didn't
weren't.
work. But don't. They do it all the time. Players team up and they talk all the time about coming and joining their. What do you think that people were doing with Rodgers last year? After every game, Calvin Johnson said on the Pat McAfee show, where like when we would play the Packers, Rodgers would be like, "Yo, you know what I mean? Why don't you try and get out of there and come here?" So they do it all the time.
But it seems to me the
Can you imagine?
But the
Oh.
NBA, I don't know contractually and stuff. I think the NBA has a shorter roster, and I think the NBA, the
Yeah, a lot more
players
money
do
to go
have
around.
more. NFL, the players don't have as much room to roam.
Well, I think also Tom Brady could piss and people think that it's amazing.
But what happens though? What happens if Tom Brady?
That's a great stream, Tom.
Okay,
Keep going.
So you sign with the Buccaneers, and all of a sudden, now it's like, and Brady is limping off. Wow! And you're sitting there with your wife and kids in Tampa Bay. Like they even thought Tom Brady got a torn ACL, meniscus, and he'll only be out 5 days.
Oh, yeah, by the way. Yeah. Adam Schefter will get on like, sources have said that Tom Brady had meniscus surgery tomorrow and he's going to play and he's active and he's going to throw for 5 fucking touchdowns.
Tom Brady
Get outta
lost.
here.
His left leg was removed. He is listed as questionable for the game
But he's
against the
gonna start.
Packers.
But he's probably gonna make the start.
And imagine like Brady
He has
hopped.
made the trip in the extra legroom seating in Tampa Bay.
Imagine that.
Private jet. Oh, my God.
Brady hops right, got time, fires over the middle, first down, Buccaneers.
So the-
Brady
so-
with
so
one
the-
leg.
So the Bucks won
Here.
the Super Bowl. I guess we get canceled this season. There's really no reason to talk about anything else, right?
No,
Tampa
they-
Bay is winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, more than
no
likely.
question.
I don't know.
Brady.
We'll see.
They're not even playing good
Because
yet.
he's making the other people drink that juice. He's
Jewish?
not illegal juice, but whatever. I don't know what he just
Imagine
looks,
when Tampa's defense starts playing good, because
Right.
they're really not even playing good yet.
Well, they didn't play good. I mean, they gave up 30-something,
I can't
whatever the
stand them, but I
Falcons
guess
scored.
it's fun to root against them. I get another.
Oh, we'll see when they lose their first game. We'll see how they can handle it.
He's
But
just-
now to the game of the week. It is the Dallas Cowboys getting their first win of the season, 20-17.
You mentioned Andrew Luck before. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the word. I thought that I watched that second half, and I was like, "Wow, I'd kill for the Giants to be this lucky." I mean,
First of all,
first of all,
Every single
Why
time
does
the Chargers
everybody
did
think-
anything, there was a penalty in the
why
second
do
half.
well? That's the NFL. It's just horrific.
All Sunday, all
Oh,
games,
and even in-
every
on
game,
Sat-
there
on
was
the
it was
Saturday,
like
and we'll
90
talk
there
about
was
that.
20. There was 20 flags in the first half alone.
crazy.
Talk about making the game
But
last.
I gotta be
way
honest
too
with you. I
long,
watched
you know?
the Cowboy game, and they won a game. Your record says you're 1-1. You're in a shitty division. You certainly have a chance to win a division.
Shitty division. We
But-
haven't played anybody in the
But
division yet. But go ahead.
anybody who thinks that the Cowboys are really good, watching them play 2 weeks, what are you watching? They didn't look good yesterday. What are you watching?
Ding,
What do you
ding.
mean? What am I
Like,
watching?
everybody's like, well, the Cowboys are going to be good. Like, I can
Let's
say
go.
the Giants are going to be good. They just played 2 really good teams.
Dak
and
Prescott threw for
Give me that
400
popcorn.
yards in
I
the
was
first
gonna
week
sit
against
back and
Tampa
watch this.
Bay.
it doesn't
Against
matter,
Tampa
but
Bay. And then he
still
game
lost.
managed. So what? So we're just looking at guys like Tony Pollard and saying, well, he'll be all
I
right.
just don't think
100
when
yards
you
there.
watch the
Bro, they
game,
rushed for over 200
I
yards
just don't
against
think
them.
the Cowboys are that good. I mean, they're in the NFL being not that good. It means they're in that with 3 games to go. The Cowboys will.
I'll tell
have
you
a
right
shot for the
I'll
playoffs
ask you
with
this
the other
question.
19 teams.
I'll ask you this question, right? Based off of what you've seen in the first 2 weeks, right? Cowboys, Eagles, Washington football team, and the Giants. Cowboys should run away with this division. Run away. Because I'm not buying Tyler Haneke, sorry. And I'm not buying the New York Giants, sorry. And the
But I
Philadelphia
say
Eagles
you-
beat the Falcons, and next
You're in
week's
a
going to
bad
say a lot.
division.
But that's what I'm saying. The Cowboys, should run away. Because there's nobody
exactly,
that even
but
holds a
ba-
candle
ba-
to that offense.
Based on watching that game yesterday, you thought the Cowboys looked good. They
No,
should
there
have
was-
lost
no,
that
no, no.
game by
Listen,
28 points.
I only talk to certain people during the game because I'm a
That's
psycho
good.
like that.
Actually, I respect that.
I only talk
I
to
get
certain
that.
people.
I
There's only
respect
certain. I must have answered one person and then like my group chat. You know what I'm saying? Like my group chat was Brett.
I
and Keith
texted you
Ernst.
after I said you got to be lucky in the NFL. It's all part of it. I don't think the Cowboys looked great yesterday. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with the stats.
No.
Listen,
I think they couldn't get off the field on third down. There was a lot of plays where I'm like, it's 3rd and 10. You know, they would give it up. It's 3rd and 12. They give it up. I'm like, they can't get off the field. Then it's 4th and 20. 4th and 20. And they roughed the punter.
Touchdowns brought back, bro.
4th and 20. They roughed the punter and they can't get off the field. And it's the rookie feel good story from Hard Knocks. Azu Kamara. I can only imagine his mother. Azu, that was bad.
I can't tell if that's allowed or not. Huh? I don't know if that's allowed.
To say what?
I don't know.
Talk about how his mother should be celebrating.
Shit out of her.
Well, she did it on TV.
She did it on TV. I'm mocking out.
She didn't do an impersonation of herself on TV. She just did herself.
Right. No. If there was no Hard Knock show and you were going, oh,
right? Nobody knows. I'm going to do that next week.
All he's doing is saying something that's already aired.
So anyway, yes. Look, the Dallas Cowboys won a game. They are what they are. Like they're 1-1. They're getting 3 straight home games. Starting next week on Monday night against Philadelphia. If they can rattle off 3 wins, then all of a sudden you're 4-1. Then talk to me. We'll see. None of those are gimmies. The Eagles, not a gimme. As much as I want to beat the brakes off the Eagles, it's not a gimme. Division games are good and tough. And then you have the Carolina Panthers, which again, they're looking good. So, and like if the Cowboys had a problem with Austin Eckler, what do you think McCaffrey's going to do to him? It's very bad scene. You know what I mean? Like they have to clean shit up. I will say this. Micah Parsons is as good as advertised. He played the edge yesterday a lot because of the injuries that we faced. That kid is so fast off the edge. He made that tackle, who was apparently the 32nd ranked tackle in the NFL, which is I read a lot.
That was in the first half?
All game. He was just before the tackle can even get his hands on him, he was around him. And there was a lot of times where all Herbert had to do was step up. And then there was a clean pocket because Parsons took the long road. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm not going to go nuts on the Cowboys all day. But they did win, and I feel good about it. And we're tied for first.
How about this game, boys?
This one. All right. First of all, this should have not have been. This should have never continued. Everybody saw it. That was a safety on Russell Wilson. That was a safety. He tried to throw that ball away. It's intentional grounding in the end zone. That's a safety. It's a walk-off safety.
Watching it on my couch, it looked like that was.
He was in the end zone. The fact that they came out, the NFL referees came out and said, nah, he was down at the 1. What are we watching?
And what about the Julio touchdown?
Yeah, the Julio touchdown.
That was also horrible.
I did not see any of that yet.
It was
his feet were in.
Day a touchdown.
So how do you get that wrong then?
It's
With
amazing,
replay.
but the refs did not want the Titans to win this game, and they fought and fought.
They stuck
and
it
fought,
to them. They really did.
I won't go as far as to say that there was a rig job because
it's not a rig job.
I've never been
ridiculous.
the type to ever believe that. But some bad calls went against the Titans in this one, and it sucks because I need Seattle to lose because they're Seattle.
Was any call this weekend worse than the Penn State Auburn game? Not getting the down right.
What?
Did you see that?
No. All right, what?
There was a intentional grounding,
and loss is supposed to be loss of down.
But then it was like a decline of it. Blah blah blah. Next thing you know, Franklin's coaching, and the referee just said 4th down, and Franklin's like, no, it's 3rd down, and they didn't know what to do. They scrambled, and Penn State punted on 3rd down, and then later on in the booth, the guy was like, 1, 2, 3. It was 3rd down. And like if you're on that ref's crew, listen. You don't get it. You should
definitely not a game like that.
If you're gonna catch shit as a ref, forget about feet in.
Right.
You got to get the down right.
Jesus Christ.
How about
they got the damn ticker on the sidelines? It's start.
What's worse is they huddled together.
How about the targeting call on the guy that was trying Penn State
going into the goal line?
He's trying to score a touchdown.
And the other guy's trying to prevent it.
It's like you got to
what
score.
Terrible. Again,
ejected.
Targeting is bad, but AJ brought this up, and I brought it up yesterday. For the love of God, how many taunting penalties were given out yesterday in the NFL? That is brutal.
They got to stop.
I get it.
They got to stop that.
There's one taunting penalty where I can almost get behind it, and that's when something happens. Right, you make a tackle. And then you're standing over him and you're clapping in his face.
Right.
You want to give me a flag on that?
I think you
fine. I'm okay with that. But the rest of the shit,
think your junk has to be 2 feet away from the helmet.
I think
right.
You know,
however they had it last year with the taunting, just leave it at that. Even that was a stretch because it's a judgment call every single time. It's like, did he hear it? I don't like it at one.
And the players are starting to signal to the referees. Did you hear that? Oh yeah, I did. You know, I'm like,
you know what I
Dalton,
think?
it happened to Dalton. Andy Dalton.
You know what
yelled at a referee, and the referee was like, "Oh, you're right, Andy," and he like throws the flag. And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
That's what happens when you get the Andy Dalton.
Here should be
treatment in the NFL. He's won so many games in the league that refs just love the red
If you're
rifle.
an NFL wide receiver and you're well covered, and the pass comes to you, and it's barely a pass interference, and the flag comes, and you do a whole dance afterwards. Since when do we cheer as a player a pass interference call
all the
In other
time?
words, you didn't
Now
catch
you
the
do.
ball.
No, my favorite
They
one.
do a whole thing that the wings are going. It's like, dude,
Get off
what are
my
you-
lawn.
That should be taunting.
No, the
Flag on you.
worst is when the ball is thrown 50 feet over the head, and the defense are like, "Nope, didn't get that one." Like, the ball's in my field. What are you talking about?
Here was the biggest problem with the taunting penalties yesterday. Everybody getting sacks, celebrating their sacks. It was a penalty every time. And even Bill Belichick, a guy who we know is a straight arrow. He doesn't do all that extra shit. He almost hates when the players really, really show their personality. When he was talking to a group of college football players, he said to them, guys, every time you get a sack, you celebrate. You worked your ass off for this very moment, that very tackle. You celebrate.
That's what's the most frustrating thing about the taunting thing.
But don't.
The most frustrating thing about the
rules?
taunting thing is that it's typically coming after something that you did really good.
That your adrenaline's
it's such
pumping.
a swing. It's such a swing. And a 15-yard penalty, that's crazy.
I think it's 10. The taunting.
First down.
It is automatic.
You know, so my point is, it's like you just sacked the quarterback and now it's 3rd and long, and instead it's for a new set.
like, what is that?
Or if you sack them on 3rd down, it should be 4th.
But do they
Too
go
many
by
games-
vocal? Is it a vocal thing?
It could be. It could
So
be.
if you say,
Well, obviously, we don't know what
That's
they're saying.
always been the case, though.
but don't you think these players have slang? In other words, we always say,
Yes.
he
Oh,
said-
yeah.
No,
No.
he said something about his mother. That's always the
Look,
classic.
there's,
Right,
there's
right.
But I
also
think there's sometimes like your mama. Hey, I'm like that doesn't mean
also
as
there's
vicious.
a list of words that they're not allowed to say on the field. Just
There
so we
is.
could clear that
There
up.
is.
Like,
There
where it's
totally
like,
is?
yeah, there totally
100%.
is. That are like, you
Yeah.
cannot say
'Cause,
this
I mean,
word
look,
on the
think about
field.
officially or
Think
unofficially.
about it. If you can't say certain words in real life, like to anybody, like you and I are talking in the street, and we say something bad and we're heard, we can get arrested for a hate crime.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
to your
that
point,
shit can happen.
You can't use the N-word casually talking
Correct.
to your teammate or to another player.
Correct.
Can't do it.
But that's
If the ref hears it,
that's taunting.
That's just a
That's just unsportsmanlike conduct.
Which is what
you got to be
taunting is.
careful. You
Who
got to
knows?
be careful. In any event, back to the game.
Yeah.
The Seahawks lose. The Titans earn this one because, look, they had, again, put through the ringer last night as far as certain calls. I still can't get over that Russell Wilson shit. He was like 4 feet in the end zone. It wasn't like for them to be like, you know what? This forward possession stopped at the 1. And what about this?
Let's talk about King Henry.
Well, hold on 1 second. We'll get into King Henry in a second. I do want to revert back to the Cowboys for a second, just because because of a play. Do you remember? Did you see Micah Parsons' first sack? I'm putting him in air quotes.
No.
Okay. So Justin Wilson, the ball goes.
Herbert.
That's what I meant. Sorry. Justin Herbert gets the ball. He's backpedaling, right? And he throws it away, but Parsons is in his face. He puts him on the ground. They don't call grounding. They call a sack.
That was horrible.
Oh, yeah,
that was
down.
horrible.
Oh, 100% hard. And I'm like,
Herbert,
what is it?
6'7".
What is it going to take?
Give him a fucking chance to make a play.
That's what I'm saying. Like what I remember, the first one I ever remember, I think it was Vince Young.
I haven't seen
in
the
grass
grasp thing in so long.
And they called it yesterday. I was like, wait a minute. Like, and what I looked at my dad and my brother. I'm like, well, got away with that one there. Like, that's great for us. But Jesus, like, you got it. The referees have to get better. They have to get better. And these judgment calls have to go away almost. Like, if you do something wrong, holding, interference, face mask, shit like that you could see, that could be called.
I think every year
the judgment calls, no.
Every year the refs they have that the team.
They have the meeting where they come up the rules committee.
I always watch the biggest thing I always look for because they have. I think some of the things they do actually improve the game. Blah blah blah. But the biggest thing is what are you allowed to review? Because sometimes I think there should be a rule with 5 minutes to go in the game, like only like most things should be able to get reviewed.
Well, no, because that last year they did that shit with the interference reviews.
But they
It took 10
It's
minutes.
gone now.
It's gone now,
in
yeah.
the review, and I also think the other thing is if it's a pass interference or not, no pass interference, but then they show that the guy clipped his got his hand on his face mask. Can you call something off a video that wasn't
No.
called?
Well, no,
off
because there's no more review of that. So that,
No,
like, that
you
went away.
can never watch the video and be like, oh, I didn't see that
Right.
That was a
here's
flag.
a
So you
face
know
mask
what? You know
penalty.
what? Maybe that's
You
maybe,
can't bring that back. It was
Why
the
not?
worst thing to happen to the NFL was the review of the. They only did
Not
it because
even-
of the
not
Saints
even-
game.
no.
They
Not-
only
that's
did
not
it.
what
No,
he's saying.
I'm saying it's
That's
not
what
what
he's saying. I'll be
say it's
clear.
a pass interference,
Right.
and
Let's just say
say
this.
there's no pass interference call, and the guy wants to throw the red thing to get it reviewed, and then during the review they realize no pass, but he actually was a face.
So,
Well,
mask.
then
so
there's
what
no
I'm saying
review.
is, say there's a fumble on the
There's
play.
no more review.
Say there's a fumble on the play, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to review for the fumble."
Oh,
but then
down
they
or
see
not
that
down.
there was a hold, and they were like, "Oh, but he held them."
Can't
They
do
can't.
But
Then
what about something
throw the
like a
flag.
face mask? Something that clearly
Nothing.
Nothing. You can't do
You
that.
cannot.
No way.
You cannot like throw the flag after the
Because
fact.
that would be every play.
Everyone was holding every play.
After the ruling on the field, the runner's knee was down.
I-
However, he
I-
grabbed his face mask.
You
No,
still,
right,
there's
next
got to
game.
be a way to review more and get the call right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in big spots, I agree.
Maybe
I
5
agree.
minutes ago in the game,
Maybe under 2 minutes.
fourth quarter.
I don't know, but they've tried it. It failed miserably, and it was just
When
delayed
they
the
went,
game
when they
forever.
reviewed everything.
Yeah, bro, it was everything. Like, oh, that could have been interference. All right, here, take my challenge flag now. Now we're going to take 18 commercial breaks, and when we come back, like, oh, here.
I'm sure the local stations love those.
Oh, of
commercials.
course. Yeah. Like, cha-ching, another review. Cha-ching. Yes, absolutely. All right. So that is, oh, no, we got one more.
We got one more game,
One more
boys and girls.
doozy.
We have the Ravens and the Chiefs, and it was an amazing game. Ravens come
Wild
back
game.
late in that one, 36-35.
Yeah. All right. So before I know AJ and like Chris and you guys, especially because we talk about this all the time, you want to come at me a little bit for the whole, Lamar Jackson's a good quarterback and blah, blah, blah.
You said they were going to go 20-0.
I did say I did.
So
say-
you
I did
said,
say-
wait a
I-
minute, you
I-
said
Chiefs.
you
Yeah.
both said, not you, but somebody said 20-0,
I did 17 and
gone.
then the playoffs.
and you guys said two teams were going to go 0-17. Is that over two or no? You guys said
The
two.
Jaguars and the
teams,
Texans.
I only
the,
said
the
one
Lions
team.
are going to go 0-17 still. Now, but
Jaguars.
to
Are,
the point,
yeah, the Lions.
To
So
the
the,
point.
so the Jags won
we
a
didn't say
game.
the Jags.
to the point that you're making, what I did was I wasn't like, you know what, bold prediction. We sat there and I went through week 1 and I picked every game. Week 2 picked every
Yeah,
game.
we really broke
In a
it down.
vacuum.
And it was 0 the whole way.
And it was 0 the whole way. It wasn't like I wasn't just at any point I wasn't gonna be like, well, I'm gonna give them this one because they're gonna win at some point. I took it week by week and I just didn't see them matching up. That's
So
how I
the
called
Lions are the only one left of those three bets.
Yeah.
And that's
Well, I
that's
didn't
gonna,
say the Chiefs are gonna go 17-0. I
But
said
he
they're gonna
did.
go.
I did. Yeah. So anyway,
But they can't lose again for my prediction. So
So if the Lions lose, if the Lions win a game, then
well, they're gonna win today.
because they're playing the Packers.
we'll get into that in a second, but I will say there were plays that Lamar Jackson made last night that were very superstar-esque, jump passes and getting out. He's so goddamn fast, and I never took that away from him. I always knew that he's a fast, elusive quarterback. I still think to this day, win or lose, I don't give a shit, that there's certain throws that a professional quarterback has to make, and there's a couple that he just doesn't know how to do. And that's look. Maybe it's a youth thing. Maybe it's a tape
That's
study
another
thing.
thing. He's also still 25.
Right. So maybe he'll get that over time. I will give him a pass on that one. But the Ravens overall, they played some inspiring football last night off of a bad loss in Vegas. So they go from a Monday night thriller loss to a Sunday night thriller win. That's everything the Ravens needed for this team to get back on the right track, because that defense, the Chiefs were scoring at will for a little while, and it made it look easy. But I thought to myself that if they can if the Ravens can nut up just a couple times, that the Chiefs defense was also playing kind of piss poor. I know a lot of people like these kinds of games. I personally, for one, I'm for these kinds of games, for the offenses to just flourish. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, that's just terrible defense. It's just really good offenses, two really good offenses. And I think Lamar Jackson has found himself a decent one in Sammy Watkins and a two complimentary player, Hollywood Brown. And he's got a good tight end and the running back, they found somebody in that too. And Latavius Murray, as much as people said like, he was fat, that's why he got cut from the he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He looks pretty good.
Fat
So
to me.
not
Who
too,
did the Chiefs beat week 1? It was a crazy game.
the Browns. So they took two games like this. There was two shootouts that the Chiefs can find themselves in every week.
You think maybe there's not a little leak in the basement on the
Well,
Chiefs?
I'll say this.
vulnerability? I mean,
Yeah, I do think that the Chiefs have a little bit of an issue when it comes to stopping people, and we saw it. We saw it in this game, and we saw it against Baker Mayfield. So they played Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson.
Though,
Huh?
Right? The game was in Baltimore.
Have
Yes.
the Chiefs ever played, like when the Giants played the Bills in the Super Bowl and they just kept the ball away from them? Have the Chiefs gotten in a game recently in the last couple of years because Mahomes.
Yeah, like the
Well,
Raiders.
they had it.
did
Here's
that
the
to them
thing.
last year.
Where all of a sudden the Chiefs score every time they get the ball, but they only get the ball 7 times.
Yeah. It was the Raider game last year where they didn't score every time, but the Raiders kind of slowed the game down. That's going
Right.
to happen once in a while in the NFL when you run into a good game plan coach. Now, I think that
to
the
me is
bread
the
and
only
butter
way
for the
you should
Chiefs
do
is that they do have trouble stopping people. I don't think their defense is so bad, but when you're used to your offense of putting up 40, as a defense in the second half, it's just natural to let off the brakes a little bit or
Mhm.
let off the gas a little bit.
Mhm.
What
So
happens?
you can take chances a little bit.
What happens later on in the season, though, is this team thrives off of big plays, but when it gets to be playoff time, they're usually playing at home. So their defense gets to feed off that energy. Early in the season, I'm not going to write their defense off yet. They do have splash players like a Matthew.
Mhm.
When he gets going, their secondary is
He almost had 2 picks yesterday.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good. At
Another
football.
thing you got to mention is the fact that they went against the Browns and the Ravens, 2 of the better
yeah.
offenses
It's not
in
like
the
they're going
NFL.
against bums. They're playing good teams. They're 1-1. Obviously, everybody
Like,
thought the Chiefs
when I
would
watch
win
the
both.
Chiefs, I say, my God, the Giants played the Chiefs this week.
But you have to be up.
I would be
The
like,
thing
they're
about
gonna
the
score
Chiefs too
7.
is
They're on the schedule.
when we're talking about the Chiefs, it's like they're hard to come back on because even more of a testament to the Ravens because of how good Mahomes is when he gets the ball. He could just do whatever he
And
wants.
also, the Chiefs score fast.
But you have
sometimes.
to
The
be up.
defense is
You have
back
to
on
be
the
up
field.
4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter before you could say we won because Mahomes they score like
They in bunches.
Right.
It does.
Like
It
that.
comes in bunches. I will shout out to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who just decided not to show up once again and now cost his team the game because that fumble, obviously, that was it. And that was wrap.
The
What's
only
up?
thing I will say about Clyde Edwards-Helaire is that was the first fumble of his NFL career. I will give him that. But besides that,
It's a costly one.
unexcusable.
It's an absolutely costly
My
fumble.
sister roots against the Chiefs because my nephew is starting to make good money in the city now. And every time they make the Super Bowl, he spends like $5,000 on a ticket. She's like, I don't want the Chiefs to win again. So he doesn't blow money on stupid games. I'm like,
I mean, he's going to go anyway. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter who's there. Like, how many teams are you going to root against?
I said, the Giants are there. I'm opening up a credit card.
No, he's a
I already
Chief-
said that about the
No,
Cowboys.
no.
I said,
Her-
you better
her-
give me zero
Her
interest.
son is a Chiefs fan. Her
I'll be
son's a
pissed if
Chiefs
you don't
fan.
know.
Oh, okay. But in any event, great game, great Sunday night. Between Monday night last week, Thursday night this week, and then Sunday night, the primetime games, absolutely.
For
What is it?
anybody-
What is it, AJ? They slapped, right?
They've been slapping. They've been
Slapping.
smacking.
And I'll say this.
What do the kids
I'll
say
say
nowadays?
this.
It was slapping all right Thursday.
I'll say this right now for
Yeah.
anybody out there that is listening to this and you are a fantasy football player, just get ahead of the game because I think Bateman will be back week 4.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Go get Rashad Bateman right now and keep him on your IR for one more week, and you'll get some dividends. On
We'll
that.
talk
And
about it tomorrow
we
in the
have to
fantasy
discuss my-
preview.
I need a little input from the Child Sports Media on my fantasy team.
Yeah, we'll
Off
help you
camera.
I
out
could
there.
guarantee you that if he does come back week 4, come Tuesday morning, everyone's going to be talking about Ad Bateman. So just do
Yeah.
that this week and stay
Get ahead of it. Get ahead of the game.
And Tua is limping off.
We'll see. But now week 2 is not over. We got one more game to play, and it's the only game that Mr. Gucci over there cares about for the week. And it's time to go, Pack, go. as the Packers are host on Monday night, 11.5-point favorites over the abysmal Detroit Lions. Now, I foresee
Lions in the under.
I foresee the
You think Lions in the under?
No,
What do you think Packers?
I'm not going to sit here and say
No. What do you think? How do you think the game's going?
I've never. That's not true. There's times that I don't think they're going to cover. They're going to blow the Lions out.
Okay.
They got to.
I think for Aaron Rodgers and their confidence as a team, Aaron Rodgers has to have one of those games where like he blacks out and the game's over and it's 42-10. You know what I'm saying? He needs one of those games. And 3 of them got to go to Tanya,
I
by
think
the
they
way.
have to win comfortably. I don't think they need to. He doesn't need to. It would be nice to shut everything
pressure
down.
on Rodgers.
There's
tonight.
100% pressure on Rodgers, but if you look at Rodgers' numbers coming off of a loss the last 2
Oh,
seasons under Matt
it's
LaFleur,
like angry
insane.
Aaron Rodgers.
Specifically at home against Detroit on a Monday night on primetime.
I agree.
Rodgers shows up in these games. I just can't.
I think
see-
Rodgers. My prediction is I don't know who's going to win the game, but I think Rodgers is going to have a great game.
My prediction is that if Robert Tonyan scores a touchdown, the Packers score 40.
If Robert Tonyan scores a touchdown, I'll beat my brother in fantasy football, and I need that now.
Now the other,
And I also need the Packers defense to do a little extracurricular, sack that kid a couple times, rattle that mother.
now, real quick, Rutgers are getting 19 against Michigan. What do we got? I'm a huge Rutgers fan. I think Michigan's going to cover.
I think that with Rutgers defense, 19 points is a lot to lay.
Can I tell you
I
that
don't
the
think
Rutgers defense is playing really well?
You know what?
Really
I don't
well.
think we've played
And what's his
a
face?
good game.
Fair, but if there is one, if they haven't played a good
It's
game
in the
yet,
big house,
you know what's
man.
you know what Rutgers has that
Pump it.
the X factor is they have good special teams too. So when you have good special teams, good defense,
19. We've
it kind
lost.
of makes things hard to 19 points. is a
Last
lot
year
to let.
we should have won triple out. You know,
Listen, if I'm a gambling man, which I'm really not, but if you are a gambling man, go to betmgm.com. There's an actual link in the Facebook group. Go sign up, register,
Yeah,
risk-free bet.
Go to chopsportsmedia.com.
Chopsportsmedia.com. It's right there on the link. So go check out BetMGM. But I will say this.
you're taking.
I'm 100% pounding Rutgers. Yep.
Wow, I just
100%.
can't do it.
You know why
I'm
I'm
definitely
doing it?
taking Michigan.
And I'll be at a
You
youth,
know why I'm doing
at a
it?
youth
Because-
family wedding, so I won't be able to watch.
Do you know what I'm doing? I'm doing it because of the defense. And even that kid, I told you about your quarterback stinking.
Federal,
He played great. He played great. And I'm not going to
Yeah,
say
it was Division II.
again. I'm not going to say he's going to have a duplicate
Delaware
performance.
plays Linden next week. see how that
Rutgers. If the Rutgers Scarlet Knights are going to go 4-0, they're going to win the game like 16-13. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to keep Michigan out of the end zone. But it ain't about that Detroit team. It's about the Detroit
I don't know
Lions
that Rutgers
tonight.
is going to score 13.
We'll see.
I think it'll be like 10-0.
We'll see. But I will, as far as game picks for tonight, it's pretty much a wrap around the board. We're all going to ride. I think, yeah, hello. We're all, even Jimbo gets on the picks. We're all riding the absolute eyewear lock of the week, we'll call it. The absolute eyewear lock of the week.
Well, it'll be a big news story. Like if something crazy happens with like
Shut up. Don't even say
No,
a
it'll
word.
be a big news story. You'll be talking about it tomorrow.
I don't know if Gucci shows up
Lions.
tomorrow. If the Lions win a game,
I'll show up.
He'll
but-
show up. He's always going to show up. But AJ, Jim, Gooch, and Sturch all have the Packers tonight, minus 11.5. We all think he's going to show out. And I firmly believe that this is one of those confidence builders that you need. And not just for Rodgers, because Rodgers don't need confidence. Like, Rodgers is Rodgers. Rodgers is the best, pound for pound, best quarterback in the league. I still think. Even we watched Mahomes, but Rodgers just sits back there. He's like,
I'm laying the points because I have no choice. I'm a Packer fan. But that point spread does scare me.
not me.
Because nobody is even looking at the actual reality of this game and looking at what issues the Packers are having and what Detroit was doing well and really looking at the matchups.
Are you looking at like
11 and a
last
half's a lot for an
11 and a half is a lot of
anytime
points.
it's double digits?
Look,
it's
we're,
like,
we're
yeah.
missing our best defensive player. We're missing our best offensive line.
Whoa, who's out?
Darius Smith is out.
Jair's your best defensive player.
Well, I'm talking about in this game.
How many
I don't think it
people-
matters. Honestly.
I don't think it matters either.
How many
but
people are taking minus 11.5 and the over?
More
A lot of
people are actually betting the
Detroit,
Detroit Lions.
Well,
plus
because of what they
11.5.
did last week. They were down like 48-10, and all of a sudden
the money,
Niners
the
were
money
like,
is
we got
going-
this, it's
yeah,
over.
I
And
think the
Lions
point
like,
spread started off at
and
12 and a half.
They covered.
The spread opened at 12 and a half or 12. It's now 11 and a half. So the money's going on Detroit.
Yeah, of course. Because of what they did last week is what I'm saying. That's the only reason. And that was a flash in the pan. The 49ers took their foots off their throat. That game could have been done.
And Hawkinson's going to probably feast.
I don't
because
think
we
the
don't have a
Packers,
middle
though.
linebacker to
Packers
cover
aren't.
him.
What happened last week? The Packers aren't just. The gas
No,
is gonna be
I'm going to tell you right
full.
now, if the Detroit Lions score more than 13 points, I'll be very, very, very worried about the Packers defense. 13. Because the Detroit Lions are a bad football team. You look
It
at the
depends
program. If
how-
you give
if the
if I gave you a program, and I know you
If the Packers have 40 points on the
I-
board, I don't care how if Detroit scores 25.
I admit it. I
No,
don't
no,
know. I don't know any.
because
I don't
at
know
that
any
point,
Lion players.
it'll be the
Yeah.
same thing as the Niners. But I will say this: if I handed you a program and said, "Here are the Detroit Lions of 2021," you're going to be like, "Nope,
Listen, I have
not
trouble.
one guy except for Jared Goff and maybe
I
DeAndre
have
Swift,
trouble.
who's
naming, like,
questionable. I don't know if he's playing."
I can't name 4 Knicks. You're asking me to name a Detroit Lion player.
So we all got the Packers across the board. It's been another fantastic week of football, and it's only fantastic because the Cowboys won a football game. That's why I'm in a good mood. It is Victory Monday after all, because if it wasn't, then I would just be sitting here moping and saying like, football sucks. Well, I can't
So
bring
if
on the
If
Rangers.
I show up
Definitely
next
sucks.
Monday, the Cowboys would not have played yet, so you'll be okay.
I'll be there.
Monday.
I'll be there. So I won't even, I will call in the show. I'll try to patch myself
You
through.
going there?
Yeah, I'm going out there Saturday night. Brett Ernst actually opens up a comedy club. They're opening up the Dallas Comedy Club right in Dallas. It's the first night they're open, and Brett
Nice.
Ernst is the headliner. So I'm going to fly down there, do that thing, watch some Sunday football in Texas, the biggest state in the
Wait a
world.
minute, but they're playing at Dallas?
Yeah,
Why don't you go to the game?
Monday night I'm going.
Oh, you're going.
I'm there all weekend.
I was going to say, if you're going to fly down for a comedy show,
No. You're out
I
of
was
your
about
mind.
to-
I would
this show
rather
is-
drive to Ramsey and watch you do
this show
comedy.
is about to be an hour and 45 minutes if that was going on. I'm
No,
like,
no, hell no. I'm
but
going
you
out
ever
there.
see people like that? No, we go to Yankee Stadium. We go to stands and watch the game. I'm like, wait, you didn't go into the game? You kidding me?
It's crazy
I
out
would
there.
drive to the Bronx to not go in.
This has been an absolute long one. I like it. Mondays are great. Football's here. new recording of Jimmy Palumbo's episode 28 will be dropping tomorrow. Also, I hope you guys got a chance to listen to What Happened to That Guy. Is that what did I nail it? What happened to that guy?
What happened to this guy?
Do you remember that guy?
Do you remember that guy?
guy?
Do you remember? Go check out that show. Very fun show. Cute, as Jimmy Palumbo said. It's a cute
little
show.
It's fun if you're
Go
a
check
Yankee
those
fan
guys
and
out.
How
fan.
about that intro though, and the outro?
It looks
even
great.
It's
better.
great.
Listen,
Everything
I got a
sounds
lot
good.
of good feedback on it. It's only a 15 to 20-minute show. It's funny to talk about shitty Yankees and Mets, and you giggle over because
We
you
might as well
remember
just talk about the current
current
rosters.
Yankees
It could
about
be
shitty
Yankees.
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 You want to have a good giggle? The
They-
Yankees of this
well,
year.
listen, like 20 years from now, I know I have a feast of material to look
Yeah,
back at.
absolutely. I will say this: Gucci doesn't know anything about this, so we're gonna get Gucci. We're gonna get Jimmy recording right away today in studio for the first time ever. Mike Salerno from Squeaky Bum Time Podcast will be here about 3:30, 4 o'clock. He was going to be recording his Squeaky Bum Time Podcast from the studio for the first time. As he's like looking around, like,
very
is that
exciting.
going to work? I'm not going to sure if that's
How's he
going to
gonna
work.
do that?
If it doesn't work, I will let him know it won't
you
work
just
as
ruined
well.
Chris's day. He's got to do my podcast.
Well, I'm definitely not
Then the Jimmy
excited about
Palumbo
it.
I mean, I'll take care
It
of it.
shouldn't,
Like,
it shouldn't matter, but I do have MMA to record today, so I have another.
at what time?
Tommy will be here probably after at halftime of the Monday night game.
You're going to be watching the game from here?
No. I'm gonna be. If he doesn't show up on time, I'm out. That's it.
See,
That's it.
priorities, folks.
Listen,
Packers all day.
Mondays are a full packed day here.
Yeah, no, Chop Studios is always
Yeah,
rocking. So
Monday, I woke up today and I was like, oh, I have to record like 11 shows. Today.
it's all
you know,
good.
because mine are kind of early, so you only halfway through the Jimmy Palumbo show.
Oh, I can't
Well,
wait.
I have that bored look.
In between my third and fourth podcast of the day today, I get to edit Jimmy's show.
Oh, yeah.
Shows
So
two of
it'd
them.
be bitter editing going on.
He's going to go. Listen, Packers, please
You
win.
know,
Please win
you know,
tonight.
I'm so glad the Packers didn't play yesterday because they lost. My show would have been just.
I mean, like, you get your show when it's effing done, Jimmy. That's when you'll get it.
It'll drop noon tomorrow. So
Not that
And then
6
me and
o'clock.
Jimmy won't talk for like 8 days again. because
Hey, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about the Detroit
he's like,
Lions.
I know
I'm
you
sorry.
got a life and all, but
No,
I
you
don't
do
really
not.
care about it.
No, you
No,
do
I
not.
don't.
None of
Well,
us do anymore. So anyway, on behalf of Sturch
I'm
and
fair.
Gooch
I'm
and
fair.
and Jimmy Palumbo and of course AJ making this all work. This has been another episode of the almost said Jersey Boys podcast, the Chop Sports podcast, and we'll be back tomorrow, hopefully off a Packers win. Please, for the love of God,
All
for,
night,
for all
baby.
that is holy, win that game, Packers.
The Packers defense scores 11 points. I lose 2 fantasy games.
Bum,
'Cause I'm playing them.
What did you pick in your?
Thank you,
Cleveland.
AJ.
What did you pick in your suicide pool? Whatever.